Hospitals have their own weather. See, Gabriel's is forever noon, even at 2 a.m. Fluorescent sun, mop water wind, coffee pretending to be courage. A nurse leads me to a family lounge that was designed by someone who has never waited for news. The chairs are too stiff to cry in. The clock is too loud to forget. I sit with my backpack on my lap like a seatbelt I won't unbuckle. My hands shake in little earthquakes I try to hide by lacing my fingers together. The rain on the window makes everything outside look like it's underwater. A doctor with steady eyes steps in. Ms. Harper. I stand too fast. Yes. I'm dear. Ortiz. He's stable. Your scarf was clever. You kept the neck still. You bought us the 10 minutes that matter. Her kindness lands like a weight. Is he? Conscious. Foggy. The scans look promising. She watches my face. Do you need water? I shake my head. If I drink anything right now, I'll choke on it. A clipboard appears. There are forms. There are always forms. I answer what I know, where, when, how fast the world was moving. I sign my name in a box that looks too small for the night we just had. When she leaves, the quiet presses in. I stare at the vending machine opposite the window. It is full of snacks I can't afford and sugar I don't want. I think about the word accident and how it lets people walk away from responsibility with clean hands. I close my eyes and the highway comes back bright and loud. The airbag hiss. The smell of hot plastic and fear. The weight of a stranger across my arms as we pulled him free. The way my voice went calm because there was no other choice. And then the other life returns, the one I shoved into a drawer. A dorm room with a sagging mattress and a desk organized like a battlefield. Flashcards. A plastic skeleton with a name my roommate gave him, Archie, because we thought we were funny. First year. Anatomy at dawn, biochem at midnight. A coffee-colored world in between. Second year. My father's heart decided it was tired of being on time. A job lost. Insurance lost faster. Third year. My mother's left side forgot how to behave. A stroke that took her handwriting and her patience. Bills arrived that spoke a language made of numbers and shame. I took 2 night jobs and told myself it was temporary. Temporary has a way of becoming a neighborhood. The registrar's email was polite the first time, then less polite, then final. Administrative hold. A phrase that sounds like someone is hugging you when they are actually pushing you out the door. I told myself I was pausing. I told myself I was noble. I told myself I'd come back when the world stopped charging me for breathing. The world never stops charging you for breathing. I fold forward in the chair until my forehead touches my knees. I breathe in force to trick my body into thinking I am safe. It works enough. Footsteps. A suit with a hospital lanyard. An assistant with a tablet. A security officer who looks like he could lift a car if the car misbehaved. They don't come for me. They pass through like weather. But I feel the air change. Wealth has gravity, even when it's on a gurney. My phone buzzes with a text from Aunt Jo. You okay? I type fine. We'll tell you later. I don't mention the billionaire. I don't mention the scarf. I don't mention that my hands still smell like gasoline and rain. Another buzz. Unknown number. MS. Harper, Mr. Veil is awake. If you're willing, he'd like to thank you in person. I stare at the message until the words settle. Then I type okay. One word. It's all I have. A nurse escorts me up 2 quiet floors where the art gets more expensive and the carpet stops saying hurry. We pass a small chapel with a door that never closes all the way. Someone is inside, whisper crying into folded hands. I keep walking. At the end of the corridor, I stop at a window and look out over the river. The highway is a faint silver vein. The spot where it happened is a darker dark. From up here, it looks like a detail in someone else's life. I press my palm to the glass until the heat of my skin makes a fog print, proof that I was here. MS. Harper. The nurse again, gentler now. Whenever you're ready. I'm not ready. I go anyway. We don't go into his room yet. We stop in a consultation nook where the lights are warmer and the chairs are kind. A woman in a navy suit is waiting. Tailored, unrumpled, the kind of person who knows how to make a crisis behave. She introduces herself as Eva Cho, Chief of Staff to Elon Veil. Thank you for what you did, she says without ceremony. You made different headlines possible. I blink. I wasn't making headlines. I was making oxygen. That too. A micro smile. Then, before you see him, 2 quick things. 1, the hospital needs your account for their report. 2, the press will ask for your name. We can help protect your privacy if you prefer. My throat tightens. I prefer invisible. Invisible is a service we can provide, she says, scribbling a note. She looks up. Do you have someone to take you home later? I have a subway pass. Do you have someone to call? I'll figure it out. She studies me the way a good doctor studies a chart. Not prying. Reading. After you see him, our driver can drop you wherever you want. No strings. If you say no, I'll respect that. I nod because the rain is still out there and my sneakers have already learned too much tonight. Dear. Ortiz appears again. He's asking for her, she tells Eva. 2 minutes. Then I kick you both out. We head toward the door, but a TV in a waiting alcove grabs all 3 of us at once. Financial news. Tickers crawling like ants. A neatly bearded anchor says words like market shock and leadership succession. The lower third reads, Hartwell Pierce. Wishing Elon Veil a full recovery. Risk is reality. Pierce smiles to camera the way a shark might if it learned manners. I've poured coffee for men like him at 3 a.m. They always say please and still leave you smaller than when you arrived. Eva's jaw tightens by a millimeter. The TV keeps talking. I look away. We step toward the door. I stop with my hand on the frame. My voice comes out before my brain approves it. I'm not the kind of person who takes things. I don't want money. I don't want a picture. I don't want to be a story. Eva's voice is easy. You took responsibility when no one else did. The rest is logistics. I used to be a med student, I hear myself confess. I didn't finish. She nods once like she already knew. You didn't finish yet, she says. The word yet drops into me and makes a small bright sound. Dear. Ortiz gives us the look that means the clock is paying attention. We go in. I won't describe him in detail. Dignity is a right, not a reward. I will tell you his eyes are awake. They are not the eyes from magazine covers. They are human, which is better. Ms. Harper, he says, voice rough but steady. You stayed. I was nearby, I manage. You were brave. No, I say softly. I was useful. A line of silence holds between us. Feels like a bridge that could carry real weight. He thanks me. Not performative, not expensive. Just thank you like water. He asks my name again and says it the way people do when they mean to remember it. 2 minutes pass. Dear. Ortiz ushers me out with kindness disguised as bossiness. The door closes. The hallway exhales. Eva falls in beside me. You did good, she says. I did the only thing I could do. That still counts. Back in the lounge, my body decides it's empty. I eat a stale vending machine granola bar that tastes like dust and triumph. I drink tap water that tastes like the building's history. I text Aunt Jo the world's smallest update, alive. I'm fine. Don't wait up. She sends a heart. Pocket it. On the elevator down, a volunteer in a bright vest steps in with a cart of blankets. She offers me one. I shake my head and then change it to a nod. The soft weight on my knees makes my shoulders lower an inch. When the lobby doors slide open, the night has thinned from downpour to hush. A black sedan idles at the curb, valet triangle on the dash. The driver, mid-50s, kind eyes, hands like he's lived, steps around to open the rear door. I can take the train, I say. I know, he answers. Ms. Cho asked me to offer, not insist. He smiles. Letting someone help is also a kind of strength. I climb in because the city is big and my muscles have voted for the easy option. The car smells like cedar and rain. My reflection in the window looks like a girl who just argued with fate and won on a technicality. We roll south. The highway reappears on my right, innocent as if it didn't try to eat a life an hour ago. The driver keeps the radio off. The quiet is a gift. I ask him to drop me 2 blocks from my building. Invisibility is a habit that takes effort to keep. He doesn't look surprised. He hands me a card, 3 phone numbers, no logo. In case you need to tell us to correct the record, he says. Or in case you need a ride that feels like a decision, not a gamble. Thank you, I say. I mean it. Up 3 flights, down a hallway that smells like last night's dinner and this morning's ambition. My door sticks unless you lift while you turn. I lift. I turn. The room greets me with the loyal ugliness of cheap lives. Peeling paint, a heroic space heater, a window that believes in drafts. I set my backpack on the chair that has also been a closet, a desk, and a coat rack. I peel off my wet clothes and stand in the shower until the water runs lukewarm and honest. When I crawl into bed, the ceiling crack looks like a river again. My bones hum with leftover siren. Behind my eyelids the highway keeps looping, but the ending keeps changing, sometimes too late, sometimes just in time. Tonight was just in time. I am almost asleep when my phone buzzes on the crate I call a nightstand. A text, short enough to fit in a breath. From Eva Cho. He meant it when he said thank you. If you're willing, he has a proposal. No pressure. Sleep first. I stare at the word proposal until my heartbeat settles down. Not that kind. The other kind. The kind that feels like a door. I type nothing. I place the phone face down like a small moon I'm not ready to look at. I breathe slow and count it until my body believes me. Somewhere across the river, a floor of glass and machines keeps a human alive. Somewhere outside my window, the rain finds the fire escape and plays a song I remember from studying nights. Somewhere inside my chest, a decision is getting dressed. Morning is coming. So is the next part. Pain has done what it does, told the truth without asking permission. Now let's see what hope can do when it's invited. Morning arrives like a verdict. By 8 a.m. the evidence chain is zipped, signed, time-stamped. By 9, Agent Rivera's team walks the boxes down a corridor that smells like copier toner and consequences. By 10 the first warrant lands where it should. Hard. Clean. Legal. At 11:12 a.m., a familiar face appears on a business channel. Hartwell Pierce wears concern the way some men wear cologne. He says he is shocked by rumors, deeply saddened, committed to market integrity. The anchor nods with the careful sympathy people reserve for money. At 11:19, Rivera forwards metadata from an internal email pulled in last night's sweep. Subject line Phase A2340. Routing path. Shell a device registered to a fund with a board seat that spells Pierce even while trying not to. The body is worse. Confirm decoy ID. Deploy drag. Ensure messaging package goes live within 5 minutes of incident. Messaging. They didn't just plan harm. They planned the story. Noon. We make it official. The press room at Veil Systems is full, but not crowded. Eva hates spectacle. So do I. She steps to the lectern with 3 pages and a spine of iron. We were the target of a coordinated market manipulation scheme that used physical risk as leverage, she says. We are cooperating with federal authorities. We won't litigate from a podium. We will keep our people safe. Then she does something I will never forget. She turns the camera on our own homework. On the screen behind her, AD audits by floor with pass-fail stamps. Evacuation routes fixed last week. Before the sting. After the lesson. A little line that says kept promises. 47 and begins to climb as she speaks. Safety is not an event. It is a habit, she says. Here is the habit. Questions fly. Eva stays steady. Is Ms. Harper qualified? She is qualified where it matters most. In outcomes. And she is finishing what life interrupted. Veil Systems is sponsoring that return. My stomach flips. It is not a surprise. It is still a shock. We had discussed support in private. Now it is policy in public. A hand goes up. Is Mr. Veil here? Elon steps out from the side door with the calm of a man who has already chosen the hard answer. We will not reward violence with silence, he says. Markets are not gods. People are not pawns. We will keep building and keep receipts. Rivera's team holds their own briefing downtown. They speak and nouns the law likes. Devices, timestamps, custodians, custodial logs. Then they show the truck. The hooks. The jammer that made the cameras blink. They do not show the checklist. That belongs to a jury now. Afternoon tilts. The internet, which spent 3 days making me a punchline, blows out its cheeks and changes key. Threads that called me a fraud now pin the phase a subject line like a trophy. A paramedic posts a duet of our highway footage and says, "Whoever kept that car straight deserves a medal and a nap." A maintenance supervisor from a hospital in Queens writes, "Dear execs, if your safety lead inventories ZDs at 2 a.m., hire them twice." Pierce tries one more show. He sits in a different studio with a softer chair and says words like malicious conspiracy and political theater. He mentions philanthropy. He mentions jobs. He mentions his father. He does not mention drag hooks. Minutes later, a second tranche of documents hits the SEC portal. Payment trails. Contracted consultants. A burner phone that is not as burned as someone hoped. The market pauses. Then it remembers how to punish. Inside our building, we choose a better kind of loud. Elon gathers 6 managers in the Echo Lab. No podium. Just chairs, coffee, and a rain rig we installed to teach calm underwater. "This is not a victory meeting," he says. "This is a responsibility meeting." He turns to me. "Lena, show them the boring parts that save lives." I walk them through drills that look simple until you try them. Head tilt. Chin lift. The 2-minute AED walk that reveals the 3-minute detour you didn't know you built. How to say your name to the night shift and mean it. We formalize 3 commitments and put them where the world can see. 1. Heartline scholarships. Full tuition and living stipends for students who left medical or nursing school to survive. No essay about tragedy required. Proof of credits earned. Proof of need. Proof of intention to return. I do not speak when the slide appears with my name on it. I cannot. Eva speaks for me. "We will not waste trained hands," she says. "Not on our watch." 2. Echo grants. Mini grants for any team to fix a safety friction within 2 weeks. Door sticks. Fund the hinge. ED battery. Fund the swap. Ramp angle wrong. Fund the crew and the Saturday. 3. Whistle quiet. A truly anonymous hotline. Bounties for proof that prevents harm. No retaliation. No HR maze. An ombud's office with teeth and a direct line to Elon's calendar. We hit publish. The receipts page ticks to kept promises. 63 by sunset. At 6:05 p.m., I visit the one place where headlines never make it. The long hallway outside Mom's rehab gym. She is working with Carla, the PT who believes in stubborn miracles. Left foot. Pause. Right foot. Her face is a storm. Then a smile breaks through the cloud cover. "Lena," she says, the L landing slow but beautiful. I swallow a whole ocean. "Hi, Mom." We sit on the bench with the wipes and the foam rollers. I tell her in simple words what happened. Bad men planned a crash. We helped catch them. Good people fix doors and batteries. We are helping students go back to school. She nods like a general who has seen worse and better. "Keep going," she says. 2 syllables. A blessing. When I leave, I pass the bulletin board with photos of patients ringing the little bell that means, I did a hard thing. Someone has taped a scrap of paper under the bell. For those who listen before they judge. No plaque. Just a pen and some tape. It is enough. Night settles like a decision. The city hum turns from sharp to low. My apartment is a clean rectangle with a plant I haven't killed and 3 books I am reading at the same time. I pin a new thing on the wall. Not the checklist. Not the chart. A photo of the Echo Lab class lined up under the rain rig, faces wet, grinning like kids who survived a surprise sprinkler. Under it, a sticky note in my messy print. Calm is a practice. My phone buzzes. Elon. Tomorrow we announce the public Echo schedule. Want to co-teach the first class? Me, yes. As long as I get to mispronounce the word gyroscope for effect. Elon deal. As I slide the phone onto the charger, a thought lands so quietly I almost miss it. Justice is not the gavel. Justice is the system that makes the gavel rare. We didn't topple a villain. We exposed a method. We didn't win a war. We showed our work. We didn't save a billionaire. We saved a heartbeat and then taught a roomful of people how to keep saving the next one. Tomorrow more drills. More doors. More check marks that look small and are not. For now I lay back, trace the crack in my ceiling that looks like the Hudson, and let the day rinse off. Somewhere, Pierce is talking to lawyers who speak invoice as a first language. Somewhere, Agent Rivera is labeling a box with a number that will terrify a man in a blue suit. Somewhere, a first-year student opens an email with the subject Heartline Award and starts crying in a library. And here, in this little room with a faithful plant and a humming fridge, I remember the highway rain and the sentence I made to a stranger. I'll get you to morning. We got there. Now we are building mornings that don't require miracles. Morning in New York is a factory whistle. The city clocks in. Sirens trade shifts with coffee grinders. I walk back to St. Gabriel's with a clean shirt, wet hair, and a courage I borrowed from sleep. Eva meets me in the lobby. Navy suit, no wrinkles, tablet like an extra hand. 2 minutes with the attending. Then Mr. Veil. I nod. Words feel expensive today. I'm saving them. Dear. Ortiz runs through updates. Vitals. Scans. Precautions. You did more than stabilize him, she says. You kept his airway safe. You prevented a spinal disaster. I try to make a joke. Comes out as a swallow. I remembered the lecture before the life. We ride the elevator. Upper floors again, where the carpets forgive footsteps and the art says hush. As we walk, a TV in a waiting alcove flashes a face I already dislike. Hartwell Pierce. He is all careful sympathy. He hopes for a speedy recovery. He mentions fiduciary risk. He smiles with his mouth. His eyes are busy doing math. Eva does not slow to watch. She's seen this movie. She pushes open the door. He is awake. He looks like a person after a storm. No armor. No headlines. Just skin and breath and stitches that tell the truth. Ms. Harper. His voice is soft like it forgot itself. Thank you again. You're welcome, I answer. You did the hard part. You stayed. He gestures to a chair. Isit. Eva stands a step back, hands folded, listening like a conductor who trusts the soloist. I won't waste your time, he says. There is no business theater in it. Only clarity. I owe you my morning. I can't pay that back. But I can do something that lasts longer than flowers. I wait. Let him fill the silence. It's a good test. He passes. I want to hire you, he says. Immediately. Not as decoration. Not as headline correction. As function. He lets that land. CareOps. Human safety. The part of a company where systems meet the body. Emergency readiness. Field drills. Culture that knows what to do before anyone shouts. CareOps. I roll the word around my mouth. It tastes like purpose with instructions. I don't have the degree, I say. I pressed pause and the pause pressed back. Then we unpause, he answers. Night classes. Tuition. Books. Rent, so rent stops being a fire alarm. His gaze doesn't flinch. You finish. On your timeline. On our dime. No strings that strangle. My chest does that tight hot thing it does when hope shows up wearing sensible shoes. You don't know me, I say. I could be a very convincing disaster. He almost smiles. I do know one thing. When the world asked you for a decision, you chose the person in the car first and your fear second. That's the job. Eva takes the handoff like a relay runner. We build a unit around you. Small. Fast. Quiet. You map risk the way med students map anatomy. You write the drills. You train our people. You sit in rooms where we decide budgets and you have veto power on the stupid. Veto power on the stupid lands in me like relief. How do you know I won't faint at meetings? Because you didn't faint in gasoline and rain, she says. A conference room is easier. I breathe once. Twice. 3 times. Say the parts that are hard, I tell him. Not the shiny pitch. The parts I'll hate. He nods. You will say no a lot. People will call you dramatic until the day you save their favorite metric. You will carry a pager that only rings when someone else forgot to care. You will be lonely sometimes because accountability is lonely. He pauses. Also, the internet will try to make you a story. We'll shield what we can. We won't lie. We will outlast. I look at the window. The river is a patient line. What's the salary? I ask. Practical is how poor people pray. Eva names a number that makes my ribs loosen. She adds health insurance like a bow. She adds tuition like a key. She adds a housing stipend like oxygen. And one more thing, he says. A fund. For people like you. Students who got ambushed by life mid-degree. No essays that perform pain. No hoops on fire. Just proof and a path. We'll seed it. You'll help run it. We'll call it the Heartline Scholarship. My eyes sting. I blink the water back into place. That name will make people cry, I warn. Good, he says. Crying is cheaper than funerals. I think of my mother's pill organizer. My father's toolbox under a bed he can't afford anymore. I think of the bursar emails that had the nerve to sign off warmly. I think of a scarf bracing a stranger's neck, and how my hands stopped shaking because I told them to. Okay, I say. The word is small. The word is huge. But I lift a finger. Conditions. His eyebrow lifts to meet them. 1. No hero press. I don't pose. I don't hold plaques. You want a statement from me. It will be about ED batteries and exit routes. Done, he says. 2. I sit with facilities. With security. With the cleaners. If the people who scrub blood out of lab sinks don't know my name, I failed. Done, Eva answers, already typing the org chart in her head. 3. When we talk about safety, we don't mean the VIP floors first. We mean the loading dock. We mean the van that gets a flat at 3 a.m. We mean the alley with the broken light. Done, he says again, and this time I see the recognition. He knows where risk hides. He's just had too few people he trusted to go lift the rug. And for I add softer. I finish school. Not someday. On paper. Cap and everything. Non-negotiable, he says. I don't do half bridges. Silence. The good kind. The kind where a contract is shaking our hands even before we touch pens. His attention flicks to the TV in the corner on mute. Business crawl. A headline about market jitters. A smaller one about suspicious trading activity after highway crash. The letters PIERCE float by like a bad smell that learned to spell. He looks back at me. I'll be honest. Someone wants me cautious. They'll escalate. If it gets ugly, you can walk away. No hard feelings. Someone already escalated, I say. I didn't walk away last night. I won't walk away in daylight. Something changes in his shoulders. Not relief. Alignment. Like a building settling onto the foundation it was supposed to have. Eva slides a thin folder to me. The paper feels dignified, not desperate. Read, Mark asks. We'll tailor around your life. We won't bulldoze it. I read. Clauses about education support. About schedule flexibility. About confidentiality that protects victims, not villains. A line that states in plain English, safety decisions outrank optics. I point to it. People will hate this line, I say. Yes, she replies. That's why it stays. I sign. My hand doesn't tremble. When I pass the pen back, I feel something invisible click. Like a seatbelt. Like a backbone. Like a door that has remembered how hinges work. They both stand. He winces, hand to the bandage. Pride is a heavy organ. Rest, I scold, surprising myself with the nurse tone. He almost laughs. Hired and already insubordinate. Before I go, I say, one favor. Name it. There's a security guard downstairs on nights. Elijah. He keeps the lobby safe with jokes and good eyes. Tell him thank you by name. Not the team. Him. He nods. By name. He repeats, like a vow is a simple sentence spoken out loud. In the hall, Eva walks me to the elevator and lowers her voice. There's something you should see. We stop in a quiet corner. She taps her tablet. Footage rolls. Not from the hospital. From a traffic cam near the crash. The feed glitches, then returns. A white pickup glides into frame. No logo. A small decal on the rear window. City sent this to our council, she says. We shared with federal friends. Might be nothing. Might be the kind of nothing that pays for yachts. My stomach drops and lands as resolve. Who owns that truck? We're looking. The ownership tree is shy. I have a guess, I say. So do we, she replies, closing the file. We'll keep you out of the camera flare as long as we can. When we can't, we'll stand in front. That's not gallant. It's strategy. Back on the ground floor, I detour to the chapel. No one is inside. The candles look like stubborn little suns. I don't pray. I nod. Feels like the same thing. Outside, the rain has decided to rest. The city smells like wet metal and second chances. I text Aunt Jo a longer message. Then a photo of a blank hallway. Then a heart. She sends 3 back and adds a frying pan emoji I interpret as, I'm making dinner. Come home. On the subway, I reread the offer. My eyes stop at one sentence in the education section. We fund the gap and get out of the way. My throat tightens again. On the window, my reflection looks like a girl who stepped into a story and refused to be furniture. Back in my apartment, I take out the one certificate I kept from school. Excellence in pre-hospital care. The edges are soft from too much folding. I set it on the table like a map I can finally follow again. I boil water on the rattling stove. Tea that tastes like dust and hope. I text Eva a single word, accepted. A moment later, her reply, welcome. Day 1 starts with shoes you can run in. I smile. I own exactly 1 pair of those. At midnight, when the ceiling crack becomes the river again, I think about doors. The ones that lock you out. The ones you jam open with a crowbar and a promise. The ones someone holds for you and says, after you. Like it's not the most radical sentence in the world. Tomorrow I begin a job that is really a dare. Build systems that behave the way people deserve. Finish what I started. Tell the truth in rooms designed for pretty answers. Call people by their names. Care first. Count second. Repeat. Hope is not a mood. It's a schedule. I set my alarm. I keep the pen on the nightstand. Morning has work for me. New York at midnight. Rain needles the West Side Highway until it shines like a blade. I'm on the shoulder with a backpack that knows every mile marker by heart. My name is Lena Harper. I used to live inside textbooks. Now I live in motion. Headlights split the rain. A black SUV schemes the slick like a skipped stone. Hydroplane. Oversteer. Tires scream. The car spins once, twice, 3 times. Metal kisses concrete. Airbags bloom like punched pillows. Then everything stops except the rain. I don't scream. Screaming is a luxury. I run. Shoes slap water. A delivery van fishtails behind the wreck and yawns to a stop. The driver stumbles out, blinking through spray. A taxi arcs across 2 lanes and settles sideways like a shield. Someone's hands are already on the emergency lights. Red. Amber. Red. Amber. A pulse for the road. The driver's door is jammed. There's a crowbar in the van's trunk. It's cold in my grip. I wedge steel between steel. Lean my weight. The door groans, then gives like a rib, remembering how to open. Smoke. Hot plastic. A sweet chemical burn that wants to live in your lungs. I drop low. I see him. A man strapped to the seat by a belt biting deep across his chest. Blood sliding into the fabric like a secret. And I know the face. You probably do too. Magazine covers. Financial TV. Elon Veil. Billionaire. Builder of companies that promise tomorrow. Tonight he is just a human being who needs 1 more minute. Training is a miracle. It shows up when you call it, even after years away. Airway. Breathing. Circulation. I say the words out loud so my hands listen. Airway clear. Breathing shallow, ragged, stubborn. Circulation. Keep what we can. I brace his head with a scarf from my bag. I tilt his jaw. I keep his spine straight with my knee because the rest of me is shaking. Sir, can you hear me? His eyelids flutter. A grunt. Not words. Enough. A tiny flame licks the seam near the wheel well like curiosity learning to chew. Extinguisher. Someone shouts. The taxi driver hands me a red can the size of a promise. A woman from the van smothers the lick before it becomes a mouth. On 3, I say. We count like a choir. We pull him free, careful as surgeons, fast as fear. On the asphalt, the rain becomes useful. Cools his skin. It washes the blood until truth appears. Pressure here. I tell the taxi driver, and place his hands where they must go. Do not stop. Do not look away. I find the carotid with 2 fingers. There you are. A rhythm that thinks about quitting and then remembers obligation. Good. Someone call 911. Two phones are already pleading with a voice that asks for cross streets I barely remember. West Side Highway. Near 44th. One adult male. Breathing. Possible chest trauma. Possible spine. The sirens are still far. This lane is a clinic with no walls. I work. I scan. No obvious skull depression. No bubbling at the wound sites. Airway intact. He's pale but he's in there. The rain slicks his hair back. He looks younger and more temporary. His mouth opens. No sound. A sentence lost on the way out. I lean close. I used to study medicine, I whisper. I've got you until the morning shows up. He does not nod. But his chest remembers how. A camera on a passing dash might be watching. A satellite above the storm might be writing this down. I don't care. I keep counting. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 4. My breath. His breath. The road's breath. Sirens arrive like consequence. Blue and red teach the rain how to glow. Gloved hands take over. Questions come quick and kind. What happened? Spin. Impact. Belt bruising. Possible rib. He was conscious then foggy. What did you use for the neck? Scarf. Soft brace. He fought me for nothing. That was good. Vitals. Strong enough to argue. They smile with their eyes. Professional respect is a language. I speak it by accident. They load him. The stretcher rises like a decision you don't second guess. He looks at me once. Just once. Eyes finding eyes through rain and noise and neon. Hold. Release. The ambulance door shuts. The sirens change key and climb the night. I stand with the crowbar dangling from my hand. The rain decides to be gentle for one breath. I let it. A paramedic pauses. He gestures at my scarf still in place beneath the sea collar. Good brace, he says. Like a medal I didn't know I needed. They go. The taxi driver exhales a curse into the slick dark. The woman from the van presses her palms together like a prayer she forgot and remembered. Traffic crawls again, cautious, curious. Already composing a story to tell someone later. My phone is heavy with nothing. No calls to return. No warm living room waiting. I tuck the crowbar back into the van's trunk. I thank them both for not filming. For staying. For being ordinary heroes with no brand. The highway breeze. I breathe with it. When the adrenaline leaves, it leaves fast. My hands shake so hard the keys in my pocket sound like a tambourine. I aim for the median wall and sit. Cold concrete. Warm skin. Two realities negotiating. Headlights arc. The city keeps happening. The rain comes in smaller teeth. I stare at the place where the car kissed the rail. I think about how thin the line is between alive and story. A few inches of lane. A few seconds of timing. A scarf in a bag because I still carry habits from a life I press pause on. A patrol officer leans down. You okay, miss? Yes. You know the driver? No. He studies my face the way people do when they are deciding whether to insist. EMS says you did good. I had help. Rain helped too. Rain's a team player. He huffs a laugh and moves on. I stay 1 minute longer and then stand because I know if I sit again I'll fold. I start walking south. Shoes heavy. Backpack heavier. Spine trying to be brave. By the time I reach 34th, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I almost ignore it. I don't. MS. Harper. Yes. This is Veil Industries. My stomach drops. Mr. Elon Veil is stable. He asked us to find the woman who pulled him out of the car. Silence stretches like a wire. He'd like to thank you in person. Can you come to St. Gabriel's 10th floor? I look at my reflection in a shop window. Wet hair. Wet eyes. A scarf I no longer own. Okay, I say. The word is small. It is enough. I turn east toward the lights that pretend to be morning. I walk past a newsstand that sells headlines for a living. Tonight it sells umbrellas and mercy. On the corner, a giant ad for a luxury tower promises a life above it all. I smile without humor. No one lives above the rain. Outside St. Gabriel's, the automatic doors inhale me like a tide. The building has its own weather. Fluorescent noon at 2 a.m. Mopwater wind. Coffee steam pretending to be comfort. I step into an elevator that reflects me 360 degrees and makes me look braver than I feel. The numbers climb. My pulse keeps up. When the doors open, the hallway is quiet carpet and quiet money. A nurse with kind shoulders nods me toward a room where the city glows through glass. I stop in the doorway. He is awake. An oxygen line like a sentence spoken softly. A monitor writing poems in green. Elon Veil looks at me as if I am both stranger and familiar. I look back as if I am both capable and shaking. Ms. Harper, he says, voice low, edged with pain and gratitude. Thank you is not large enough. Thank you is a good start, I say. And that is how it begins. Not with a contract. Not with fate dressed as a violin. With rain. With a crowbar. With a heartbeat that decided to keep going. 1 year later, New York remembers how to be kind in small, ordinary ways. Elevators wait the extra second. Doors that used to stick open smooth. The ADs blink green like quiet stars on every floor. The Echo Lab hums every morning at 8. We run storm drills under the rain rig, teach breath like a metronome, practice the boring brilliance that turns panic into procedure. Nurses come on their off days. Building supers show up in work boots. An HR director cried last week because she'd never been taught where the stairwell with the bad light goes. We keep count, not for applause but for truth. Kept promises. 1,742. Grants approved. Doors fixed. Batteries swapped. Routes corrected. I love that number more than any headline we ever made. The Heartline scholarships became a line item and then a pipeline. Students who left school to hold their families together are coming back. Night shifts turn into rotations. Rotations into white coats. On Fridays, I hold office hours in a corner of the lab and read personal statements that smell like second chances in laundry detergent. We do mock interviews with kindness as the grading rubric. Mom has a key to the therapy garden now. On good afternoons, she sits in a patch of sunlight with a plastic cup of mint tea and tells me with her hands, slow, deliberate, that she walked from the red tape to the blue cone without stopping. On quieter days, we count bees. She still loses words, but she never loses her approval for stubbornness. When I told her the scholarship program hit 100 students served, she tapped my chest and said, "Keep." One word. The whole assignment. Elon and I learned how to live in the same paragraph without crowding each other's sentences. He wakes early, I stay late. He brings the coffee. I bring the checklists. Sometimes we switch just to keep from pretending we're destiny instead of discipline. We don't do grand gestures. We do small ones well. He walks the night shift at least once a week on purpose with no cameras. He knows every guard by name now, Elijah on the South Dock, Priya on the mezzanine, Jorge in the East Lobby who makes the best cafeteria omelet if you tip in jokes. I showed him how to coil a hose so the water drains right and the next person doesn't slip. He was unreasonably proud. The lawsuit headlines came and went the way weather does. Pierce hired lawyers who bill in Latin and grief. Agent Rivera's boxes turned into filings turned into a trial calendar nobody could outrun. I watched the first day of testimony on a tiny phone in a cafeteria while a maintenance crew ate their lunches like an audience that still had work at 2 o'clock. When the guilty verdict scrolled across the ticker, Jorge raised his plastic fork like a toast. No one cheered. We nodded. Justice isn't a party. It's a door that finally opens because 100 quiet hands kept pushing. We publish our receipts quarterly and tape a printed copy in the lobby like a diner menu. People stop to read. Sometimes they circle their building's fixes with a pen and write thank you in the margin. Eva added a new tiny line that only the patient will notice. Errors caught before harm. A number that means the system is learning to whisper warnings earlier. On the anniversary of the rain, the Echo Lab hosts a neighborhood day. We push the practice car into the hallway so kids can climb in and pretend to drive straight through a storm. We set up a CPR station with glitter stickers for every compression done with good form. Someone's grandfather, who keeps a folded EMT card in his wallet from 1979, tells me with glossy eyes that the rhythm hasn't changed since he learned it in a church basement. I tell him the song still works. That evening, the building empties into a lavender dusk. Elon finds me coiling cables, hair damp from the rain rig, shirt damp from being stubborn about cleanup. Come with me, he says, not like a command, like an invitation to an ordinary miracle. He leads me to the rooftop garden we almost never use because work prefers the floors below. There's a table with takeout noodles and paper bowls and 2 bottles of seltzer that hiss like polite snakes. He fumbles in his pocket, pulls out a small box that is not velvet and not dramatic. Brushed steel. Practical. Don't panic, he says, which of course makes me laugh. He opens it. A thin band, plain silver, readable without translation. On the inside, one word engraved so tight you have to tilt it to catch the light. Freedom. Freedom to walk away, he says. Freedom to stay. No bargains. No debts. I won't buy a minute of your time, Lena. I'm asking to share the rest of it, however long that is. If your answer is no, we eat noodles and watch the city breathe, and I adore you from a respectful distance until the feeling learns how to be quiet. If your answer is yes. He stops like a man who finally respects silence enough to let it answer. I don't cry. Not really. My eyes do that sting thing the wind causes when it pretends it isn't sentimental. Yes, I say, and it sounds like a door that always wanted to open. Not because I owe you a thing. Because we owe the future a house that doesn't collapse when it rains. He slides the ring on. It is cool for 1 second, then warm the way metal learns your temperature and decides to believe in it. We eat noodles and watch commuters blink across bridges like careful fireflies. No fireworks. No orchestra. Just a city doing its job and 2 people quietly deciding to keep. We don't announce anything the next day. We go back to work. He hammers through a supplier meeting where somebody tries to sell fear as a service and he politely declines. I run a drill where a rookie paramedic gets the pulse back on a mannequin and accidentally whoops too loud. I whoop with him. When people ask what changed, I tell them the truth. Not much in everything. I still rent a small place with a plant that refuses to die. I still ride the crosstown bus with a backpack full of laminated cards and spare batteries. Now there's a key on my ring, keep, and a second key I never thought I'd carry that opens a life where tenderness is scheduled like the important meeting it is. Sundays, I bring Mom to the community garden behind the rehab for the quiet hour. The kids from our neighborhood program have strung paper cranes between the tomato cages. A volunteer librarian reads bilingual picture books to a half-circle of toddlers and exhausted parents. We sit on the bench with the little brass plaque that says for those who listen before they judge. If someone left a bus transfer or a receipt tucked under the edge, proof they made it through a day, we leave it there. We believe in talismans we can't cash. Every month, Elon and I host an open Ask Us Anything for interns and security and janitorial staff. It's not on the company calendar. It's handwritten on a whiteboard outside the cafeteria. 2 bosses, 20 chairs, free coffee, no pitching. People ask real questions. Why did you publish the mistakes? So my son doesn't have to learn about our integrity from an obituary, Elon says. Why did you come back to medicine? Because I never left, I say. I was just on hold. The last question is always some version of how do you change a place? One brave sentence. One person willing to truly hear it. The rest is practice, weather, and snacks. Before I answer, I usually tell the highway story one more time, the part after the noise. How the crowbar felt heavier than it looked. How the rain did half the cooling for me like it had been waiting to be useful all night. How the paramedic nodded at my stupid scarf splint like it belonged in a textbook with my name under the picture. I remind them that heroes are bad for systems. Habits are better. We leave the word hero on the shelf and pick up neighbor instead. If the night feels too large for you right now, if the bill came due, if the headline lied, if the door stuck, hear me. You are not finished. You can oversleep your miracle, and it will still meet you at the stoplight if you keep walking. Return what isn't yours. Keep what is. Learn the old signs. Teach the new ones. Feed people. Publish your homework. Take the smaller ring if it means the bigger life. Let yourself be witnessed. Choose and choose again. My name is Lena Harper. I was invisible once. Now I keep doors. If you find a wallet in the rain, a skill, a story, a second chance, bring it home. Sit on the bench with the brass plaque and watch the city remember how to breathe. When someone asks Elon how we scaled any of this, he shrugs the way he does when the truth is simple enough to fit in a pocket. Attention is the scarcest resource, he says. Spend it where it multiplies. I say, spend it on children. Spend it on truth. Spend it on rooms where hands and mouths and eyes can all be heard at once. Then we count the quiet afterward and call that happiness. A year on, New York remembers small kindnesses. Elevators wait. Sticky doors glide. 80s blink steady green. The Echo Lab hums at 8. We run storm drills under the rain rig. Teach breath by count. Turn panic into procedure. Nurses come off shift. Supers arrive in work boots. An HR director cries after finally learning the bad stairwell. We publish kept promises, grants, doors, batteries, routes. I love that quiet number more than headlines. Heartline scholarships became policy, then pipeline. Night shifts turn into rotations, rotations into coats. Fridays I hold office hours, edit statements that smell like detergent and second chances. We grade interviews with kindness. Mom has a key to the therapy garden. Good days, mint tea. From red tape to blue cone. Quieter days, counting bees. When I said we hit 100 students, she tapped my chest. Keep. Elon and I share paragraphs without crowding sentences. He wakes early, I stay late. We swap coffee and checklists. He walks night shift weekly, no cameras, knows Elijah, Priya and Jorge by name. I teach him to coil a hose. He's absurdly proud. The lawsuits pass like weather. Rivera's boxes became filings, then verdicts. In a cafeteria we watched guilty scroll by, no cheers, just nods. Justice is a door that opens because many hands kept pushing. We tape our receipts in the lobby like a diner menu. People circle fixes and write thank you. Eva adds a tiny line. Errors caught before harm. On the rain anniversary, kids drive the practice car. Glitter stickers for good CPR. A grandfather says the rhythm never changed. He's right. That dusk, Elon takes me to the roof. Take out noodles, seltzer, a brushed steel box. A plain ring, freedom inside. Freedom to walk away or stay. No debts. Yes, I say. Not from owing, because the future needs a house that won't leak. Next day, nothing changes and everything does. He declines a vendor selling fear. A rookie gets a pulse back and whoops, I whoop too. I still rent small, ride the bus with spare batteries. Now my keys say keep and carry a second key to a life where tenderness is scheduled. Sundays, I bring mom to the garden. Paper cranes, bilingual books, a brass plaque. For those who listen before they judge. We leave found bus transfers as talismans. Monthly we host Ask Us Anything, interns, security, janitors. No pitching. Why publish mistakes? Elon. So my son learns our integrity before an obituary. Why medicine? Me. I was on hold. I retell the highway story. The heavy crowbar, rain doing half the cooling. A scarf splint that earned a nod. Heroes are bad for systems, habits are better. Choose neighbor. If the night is large, you're not finished. Return what isn't yours. Keep what is. Feed people, publish homework, take the smaller ring for the bigger life. Be witnessed. Choose again. My name is Lena Harper. I keep doors. If you find a wallet in the rain, a skill, a story, a second chance, bring it home. Elon answers scaling the same way. Attention is the scarcest resource. Spend it where it multiplies. I add, spend it on children, truth, and rooms where hands, mouths, and eyes can all be heard. Then we count the quiet and call it happiness. At 7:12 p.m., lightning bites the grid. Half of Midtown goes dark. We rehearse this. Emergency power size on. Elon arrives soaked. We begin. Eva takes comms. Marco turns the lobby into triage. Security sweeps stairwells. I grab the red cart and a faithful flashlight. Floor 24. Stalled elevator, 2 interns and a pizza guy. We talk, breathe on 4, work the release. Everyone out. He hands me the cold pizza like a medal. Floor 17, 1 machine sulks. Priya is hand pumping already. We rotate, count, switch. In the stairwell, someone panics. We sit on the landing, shrink the world with light. They move again. By 8:05 the building returns like a dimmer, not a slap. We log fixes. Errors before harm ticks up. No injuries, no speeches, just neighbors. Debrief becomes potluck. We post blackout playbook version 2.0, captains, elevator checklist, feed the trapped, pump rotations, sit on the landing. Someone draws a smiling lightning bolt. The court posts US. V. Pierce. Conspiracy, manipulation, wire fraud. Rivera texts. All set. I answer keep. Thursday wedding in the rehab garden. Paper hearts on tomato cages. The librarian officiates. Vows. Attention before speed, kindness before optics. Fix the door you just used. Rings say freedom. Mom taps the bench. Keep. Laughter like relief. New Heartline cohort arrives. Aisha trades cleaning rooms for a student badge. A super borrows our stairwell plan. I hand him a clipboard and a cookie. Start always there. Elon listens at a union meeting, funds back office fixes, writes no hallway surprises into policy. Morale shifts like sunrise. Fridays at 4:55 we ring a soft bell. One receipt read aloud, then everyone goes home. Sometimes I visit the guardrail's new shine and thank the rain and the earlier me. Pocket moral. One brave sentence. One true listener. Practice till brave becomes ordinary. Publish your homework. Pocket map. Check the AED. Find the dark stairwell at noon. Learn the guard's name. Fix the door. Feed the trapped. Sit on the landing. Count on 4. Keep. Scaling. Elon. Attention multiplies. Me. Spend it on rooms where hands, mouths, and eyes are heard together. The quiet after is the headline. I am Lena Harper. I keep doors. If the night is big, meet me at the brass plaque bench. We'll count bees, breaths, and small receipts, then oil the next hinge and walk through together. Some wins look like calendars, not headlines. Heatwave. We post Heat Playbook version 1.0. Knock upstairs. Fans to elders/infants. Coolers, not bottles. Guard heat-sensitive meds, sit in shade. RC fewer strokes. No parade, just a calmer night. Echo multiplies in ordinary places. A laundromat pop-up, 5-minute drills between spin cycles. Kids giggle, then focus. A grandma's cadence becomes our template. Elon names scholarships for bus routes and night hours. Stacks chairs at a union picnic. Asked if he's a billionaire. On paper. He points to the grill crew. That's the wealth I trust. Rivera brings donuts. Pierce loses. Sentencing looks long. He asks if I want a badge. I lift my clipboard. Listen first. Mom's new shorthand, 2 chest taps. Keep. I use it when slides try to replace people. We mess up. We log it on the receipt wall. Prayer time collisions, misrouted AED pads. Newsletters, 2 long fixes plus receipts. A city editor asks for human safety in newsrooms. We write a corrections playbook. 3 papers adopt it. Sleep improves. At home. Dumplings, reminder notes, occasional fights. We walk, count hydrants, find third answers. He slows a branding-heavy partnership. I open the door and stand in the frame with a clipboard. A letter from med school. Please come finish. Heartline pays, grit covers hours. After hours white coat, I cry. Elon hands me a stained pen. Romance. We host the keeping conference. Janitors with surgeons, teens with CEOs, soup and bread. Publish everything. A competitor copies the homework, good. A Bronx principal asks for a drill that won't make kids cry. We turn the alarm into a song, ask missing a friend. End with cocoa and a short dance. Rated better than Tuesday. Markets do what they do. Analysts fail to price kept promises but learn to ask supervisors for stories. Attrition softens. At the bench, a chef wants a policy, not charity. We turn a template into family hours. If your kid wheezes, go. She emails a photo, I cry on the train. We make a pocket keep kit. 2 bandages, earplugs, a boring saves lives sticker, and 10 sentences. Names, count, doors, dashboards, fix before Friday, publish, feed the trapped, sit on landing, ask janitor first, practice calm, keep. People tuck them by their library cards. January ice storm. Ready, 3 fixes, sleep. If you need a rule book, You don't need $1 billion to be a hinge. You need a checklist, a neighbor, and the courage to insist on boring. Shock wakes, pain points, Hope writes policy, Justice publishes receipts. Happiness is the quiet machine. I'm Lena Harper. I keep doors, count breaths, teach strangers to leave rooms better than they found them. Text a friend, keep? If they answer, keep. Go. Meet me at the bench. Bring a thermos and a story. We'll trade, fix one simple thing before Friday, and scale the only way that lasts.